Testing. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Johnny, and once a month I like to put on a little show called Paint Therapy here on my YouTube channel, where I go ahead and I sit down and I paint a pretty picture for you guys. I do give you guys step-by-step instructions along the way, so that way if you guys want to hop on the bandwagon with me and paint along, you're more than welcome to. Likewise, anyone who just wants to sit back, watch, and enjoy the painting come to life is more than welcome to join the party. And today we are painting a classic. Maybe classic isn't quite the word, but we are painting a painting that everyone's seen and everyone will always love. So I'm painting a sunset with some silhouettes of palm trees, and it's going to be just really basic, really simple, really user, newbie friendly, and also really, really beautiful. This is one of those paintings where you can make it as basic as possible or make it as vibrant and as amazing as possible. It's good for all of you, no matter what level painting skill you have. It will be beautiful by the time we're done today. So everyone get ready, pick up a paintbrush. This is Paint Therapy. Let's go. So just so you know what paints you're gonna need today, I am personally using Primary Blue, Titanium White, Cadmium Yellow, Mars Black, Crimson. I'll be using lots of different kinds of brushes, I think, or maybe even not, I'm not sure. Point is I'm not sure what brushes I'm using yet altogether yet, so I'll just mention those as I go. So let's dive into this painting, guys. The first thing we're gonna be painting is our backdrop, AKA our sunset. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Are you ready for this? Let's go. Okay guys, so I am ready to get started here. Yes, outfit change, backdrop change, lighting change, everything changed. I'll talk to you about it later, whatever. Anyways, so I am starting with just two colors on my palette today. I am starting with just some titanium white right there and some ultramarine blue or primary blue. Either one will work really just fine, guys. And I'm gonna be starting to combine these together and kind of fade down from the top of my canvas into the lower part of my canvas to fade that sunset down. I love doing sunsets, I love doing blending, so this is going to be a lot of fun for not just you, but for me, 100%. And then as I get closer to the lower half of the canvas, I'm going to start incorporating some other colors. So let's get started. So now, by the way, as you guys might be able to see, this canvas is wider, thinner. I just thought it was going to be really great and make this painting kind of perfect, just because it's really wide and it's going to look really HD, really real, and that's why I went with the wider, thinner canvas. Now, if you're wondering what this thing is right here that I did like in silver ink, it's actually just going to be our horizon line and our sun that's sinking and setting into the ground. And then this little blocked off area right here is actually going to be just a little bit of ocean. We're just going to do just a really small strip of ocean at the very bottom, just to give it some dimension, give it some perspective, and just make it that much great looking. So that's what that's going to be for. But we're not going to be focusing too much on the ocean. It's going to be mostly the sky, and then the real detail is going to come out in our palm trees, which is going to just really be the icing on the cake. So now that I have my two colors on my palette that I showed you before, the blue, either ultramarine or primary blue, and my titanium white, I'm going to start blending and incorporating these at the same time. Sorry, I keep looking at two different cameras because I've got two different cameras rolling. That's okay. So if I'm ever looking like this and talking, I'm talking to you, but just not the you that you are. Anyways, to start this off, the brush I'm gonna be using to start off is gonna be my 1-inch flat brush. I'm gonna be using this to start the top of my canvas right here. And then as I get lower towards the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the 3/4 inch brush right here. That's also a flat brush to do the lower half, where the color gets kind of a little bit thinner and a little bit different and changes faster. Something I like to do, which I highly recommend, practice a little bit, like on a paper plate, a napkin, or a trash canvas if you have one laying around. I always like to do that just to kind of know what I'm getting myself into, because sometimes, you know, let me put it to you this way. You can put more paint on the canvas. You can't take it back. So I like to practice a little bit, but I've been practicing a lot lately. This is like the third painting I did this week. Yeah, I did two that I was gonna film for you guys, and I started the filming. Funny story, actually. The first one I did go ahead and film, and I put my mic on, I attached my mic, I filmed the whole backdrop of me painting the sunset. Didn't get to the palm trees yet, thank God. I went to go check the footage and I realized that, oh my gosh, total Johnny move. I forgot to turn the microphone on. So I lost all that footage and I basically just, you know, trashed that painting. The first thing I'm going to do is actually dip my brush just a drop in water, not even submerging the whole thing. I just like to get the edges of it just a little bit damp before I mix colors in that I'm going to be blending and applying to a fresh canvas. A fresh canvas is really dry, believe it or not, and it's a little bit rough to spread your paint around if it's not really thin and moving around nicely. That's the last time I drank Canada Dry, before filming anyway. That's why I'm adding the water. It helps it cascade. What a great word, cascade, across my canvas. A lot easier, a lot nicer, and you're gonna enjoy it more, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and just bring just a little bit of this white into my blue here. Just like that. Hopefully you guys can see this on camera 2, camera B, whatever camera we're calling it. And since it's sunset, my blue is going to be a little bit darker than usual, guys. My blue is going to be a little bit darker than you would see in a normal daylight sky. I want it to be a little bit darker than that. I'm going to go ahead and just smack just a tiny little drop of this just right to the side right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and take just, seriously guys, like a drop at a time. Remember, you can put more in, you can't take it back. So this is the kind of color I'm looking for right now that I'm going to go with, and I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I've got all that really well mixed and incorporated together. Here we go. So I'm doing this in a horizontal motion, guys. I recommend you do the same. So I'm so excited, guys, because I just got this new like little fold-up easel that this painting canvas is on right now, and it's totally like a game changer for me, to be honest with you. You know, I used to have a cool fold-up easel when I lived back in New York, but I don't know where the hell it is. I've moved so many times, to be honest with you, since like I kind of left the home nest, and I've just kind of been finding or looking to find, you know, my home really. And I finally kind of found, you know, a solid home, a solid base. Grateful for that. But I lost that fold up canvas. So because of that, I've been kind of painting like however I can really, like with my canvases and an easel. Like I don't have an easel or anything like that until now anyways. So I would kind of have to lean things up like against the wall and things like that, which you've seen them in my previous videos, and it worked, but it just, it was such a pain all the time, guys. Just getting that on there, moving it around really nice. Gonna go ahead and just wet my brush a little bit more. Clank, clank, clank. Dip into that blue just a little bit more. Fill this paint up right here. And this top strip right here, I just want there to be a nice, decent amount of paint, guys, on this part of the canvas because I'm gonna be blending and I need more paint to do some blending. So now that I've got that right there, I'm not even gonna clean my brush, guys. I'm gonna leave it as is, okay? And I'm just gonna go ahead and start dipping back into my white over here. Bring just a little bit at a time in here and lighten it up. So you see that color right there? I'm gonna go ahead and use this color right here. Very, very tiny little streak of it. I'm gonna blend that together with that darker color. And remember to blend up, guys. You gotta blend up into your darker color. After you kind of get that base of the new color down, you wanna blend that up. And that's gonna make a huge difference and give you that amazing ombre, fade, gradient kind of effect that everyone's just so crazy for these days. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull in even mostly white at this point. I'll even start with just mixing around with my white here until I get that really kind of soft baby blue, which you might be able to see on the tip of my brush there. That soft baby blue color. And I'm gonna do another really tiny little strip. We're just gonna go ahead, blend that together, and then blend it up. Are you guys having fun with me or what? I'm having fun. So real talk, I am just so excited to be here because it is actually my Friday. It's not Friday of the week, but it's my Friday because, you know, I'm a 20-something-year-old and we work random days of the week, right? Don't we? I'm just so excited to be here. I've been wanting to paint this for just the longest time now, it feels like. So I'm really, really excited that now I'm here and I'm painting. So amazing. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate even more white in there. So it's almost totally white. Gonna go ahead and do that tiny little streak like we did last time. Again, like clockwork, blending that in and blending it up. You wanna build on this color, guys. It's gonna make it rich and it's gonna make it look even better when it's all dry. And now what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm actually gonna wash my brush a little bit. Not 100%, but just to get any like excess color off that's kind of deep in those bristles of that dark blue, because now we're gonna be done with our blue, at least for right now. So I do have, you know, just a little bit still on there, not really a lot at all. But now I'm gonna go ahead and get my titanium white back out, and I'm going to just pop a little tiny bit right there and go right into that, like only that. I've got pretty much just white on my brush there, on the tip there, guys, now. And I'm gonna go back in, and this is kind of like a learning curve, guys, you know what I mean? You'll learn how much of each color you need to get the desired color you want. That's why you often go in again and again and again with the same kind of color and same kind of technique to get the same kind of effect, because you wanna make sure you get it just right. I mean, who wouldn't? And I'm gonna go in with just a little tiny bit more, this time not even mixing close to the blue, totally separate, because now I really need this to be just totally white. And I'm gonna go back into the blue a little bit. Just like that. Now I'm gonna go pretty much just right under. Oh, I got some black in there somehow. How the hell did that happen? Oh, I know how that happened. Whoopsies. Let's see if I can do something about that. That's not good. You know what? It's okay. We're gonna make it work. Back in with just that white, just a little bit more, guys, of that white right there. Okay, guys, and now I'm ready to start mixing in my colors. I'm so excited. Are you excited? You better be. We're back and we are with our vibrant, awesome sunset colors. This is gonna be one of the best parts of this painting, guys. So I am adding in some of my crimson red, some of my cadmium yellow, and just a little bit more titanium white. Titanium white will pretty much always be on your palette. For any of the paintings that I use, I like light, positive stuff. So I have switched out for my 3/4 inch brush now, and it is a clean brush. I'm gonna go ahead and just drop that a little tiny bit in water like I did with the other brush. You can even test it on your skin. You kind of just want it to be just a little bit damper than normal, okay? Now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start with some yellow and some white, and I'm gonna try to make this really light yellow, okay? Really light. Like this right here is pretty much perfect, that color right there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just start putting that on, guys. This is important that you don't blend this color too far up. You need to blend it up a little bit, but you don't want to blend this yellow up too far because do you guys know what yellow and blue make? What does yellow and blue make, guys? This is like 3rd grade level. Green, it makes green, and we don't want green in our sky. I mean, unless you're living on Mars or Jupiter or some planet that has green skies, you do not want green in your sky. If you ever see green in your sky and you live on planet Earth, it's time to go seek shelter because the bombs just went off. All right, so you definitely want to make sure that you keep it realistic and think about these things. I definitely recommend, and I said this in my last video too, that if you guys are painting, look up a color wheel and see what colors together make different colors, because it's really interesting. And it's not just the basics that we talked about, like just right now, like 3rd grade level. There's all these kinds of colors that you can combine and make beautiful colors. It's like you only need so many colors to actually have every color you could possibly need, because you can mix them together and make them. And it's amazing. Life hack, if you're like tight on cash and need a color, make one. I do it all the freaking time, let me tell you. And now I am just gonna go in with that just white a little bit, the very bottom there, and just kind of blend that up a little bit more with just the white kind of. And that just looks great, guys. That looks fantastic. Okay, so now what I'm gonna be doing is dipping just in a little bit of water again. And now I'm gonna go ahead and start to bring some of this crimson into this color I have. Because now what we're gonna try to make is orange. And yellow and red make orange. So look at that beautiful orange, that beautiful rich orange that we just made. So now I'm gonna go ahead, dap just a little tiny bit of water on there and start gliding that across, guys. And then we're gonna go ahead and do what we always do, and we're gonna blend that up. We're gonna blend it up. And guys, this is a sunset. There's all types of weird cloud formations and everything in here, so if it doesn't look like perfect and even, that's okay, because have you ever seen a sunset that is perfect and even? No, of course you haven't. If you have, send me a picture. Picture it didn't happen. I'm just gonna get rid of some of the excess off my brush for a second so I can blend this up a little bit more without kind of bringing too much more color up there. I'm just trying to blend it up. I'm trying to spread this color out nice and thin. That's amazing, guys. That's just amazing. I love the way this is coming out. Hope you do too, because you are doing this. You're doing it. You're amazing. You are a rock star if you're sitting down and painting this picture with me. Which reminds me, by the way, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that notification bell if you want to be the first person notified when my next video comes out, because I know that you do, right? Don't break my heart and say no. Tap the notification bell, please. And of course, leave me a comment. I love comments. I love feedback. Let me know what you think about this painting, and go ahead and comment a suggestion for next month's painting. I really do listen, guys. I really, really do. Now what I'm gonna be doing, guys, are you ready for this? I am going to be just bringing more of that crimson in here. Now, we don't want this to be obviously like too red. You know, we want it to kind of be like a very pungent orange where it's almost red, but it's not, you know? So this kind of looks like a really dark kind of salmon color. And I'm gonna start with this, and I'll work my way down into a deeper kind of reddish tone if I feel like that's what I want. But as of right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and do just a line. When you're working with small spaces like this, instead of using your brush wide ways, I like to use it thin ways, just so you're, in more control of the area that you're putting this paint on. Bless you. Oh, crap. Someone sneezed downstairs and I was just about to say, bless you. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. You know the drill. Get that color on there, get it on there nice, and blend that sucker up. Blend it up. You have got this. Blend it up. And guys, don't forget to be dipping a little tiny bit into your water. Just a little tiny bit. It makes a huge difference and is gonna make it so much easier on you to blend. Believe you me, okay? Believe you me. So that looks amazing. Now we're gonna go back in a little bit, add just a touch more of that crimson color, because if you go too dramatic, it's gonna look not realistic. You want it to be very fine and realistic and natural. So that's what we're doing, just a little tiny bit at a time. Tiny little drop of water after I have the paint on my brush, and bring that right back on. Another drop of water, and blending that together. And now I'm gonna go somewhat significantly more crimson, somewhat significantly, not totally significantly, but does that even make sense, totally significantly? What am I saying? Anyways, back to the painting. So now that's the color I've kind of faded into now. It's definitely a bit darker than that original pungent kind of dark salmon color we talked about. And this time you can just go right, because we have such a thin amount of canvas left, at least I do. I'm just gonna go right into it. Okay guys, and I'm just now gonna take this tiny, there's pretty much nothing left on my brush, okay? Just like remnants, I'm gonna just kind of take that and just gently kind of glide up a little bit and see if I can bring any tiny little fragments of color up into my blue. Just tiny little fragments sometimes make such a huge difference. I mean, look how amazing this came out. Look at what you made, guys. I mean, it looks amazing. It looks fantastic. Wow, incredible, pro, I love it. So now the next thing we're gonna be doing is actually filling in our sun here, which I recommend, guys, what the hell was that? See, the wind must have just blown something off the roof. There was like a huge pounding just on my roof. Guys, if the ceiling caves in, please post this video for me. So now I'm gonna be doing the sun. I recommend you guys take your time with it. I'm gonna let this dry just a little tiny bit and then I'm gonna tackle that sun. So stay tuned, guys. So for the sun here, the brush I'm gonna be using is actually called a medium Filbert. The medium Filbert is good because it's got that rounded edge and the sun is round, and it's a small but very firm brush, so I'll be able to control my strokes a little bit better. And I'm going to start by going pretty light, and so as you can see, I kind of put my outline for the sun right there in the middle. You can put yours anywhere, honestly. I was debating putting it like all the way to the right. That's kind of like a cool artsy way to do it, but I just wanted to be simple for you guys, so I put it in the middle. But you can put it anywhere you'd like. You can make it as big as you'd like. You can make it really kind of like fictional and magical, where it's like this gigantic sun like melting into the horizon. You could do something really, really tiny, or you could also just skip the actual sun part altogether and just have it like what we did so far. So it's just kind of the end of the sunset. For this, I'm actually going to be using almost white, but like very light yellow, like even lighter than the yellow we used before in our like sunset. Now I do kind of have some leftover like light yellow and white right there on my palette, so I'm just going to use that to start. So if you can see the kind of color I'm getting right there, it's kind of perfect. I'm gonna start with not too much paint on the brush, get my bearings a little bit, and I'm gonna start with my outline. I always try to do the outline first, and be gentle, be slow with this part, because you don't want to screw up your outline. Just because if you have a vision of your sun being a certain size, you don't want to have to make it larger to fix it, you know what I mean? I am just going slowly, steadily around my outline here. For the outline, you want it to almost be like you're just placing the paint on there. Less of like a stroke motion and more of like you're just putting it on there, Now that I'm doing the middle, I can do more of a stroke motion, heavy up the paint a little bit more. I do notice that my sun is a little bit lopsided. Like I said, I really can't draw any shapes. I'm really awful at the like symmetricalness of that kind of a thing. I'm gonna have to kind of fix my shape a little bit, which is okay. And if you think my shape looks fine, that's fine. That's great. I'm happy you like it, but I'm kind of anal. I get that from my dad, where we have like OCD about everything needs to be totally symmetrical and like perfect and like centered and stuff. Yeah, thanks, Dad. Real blessing. To be honest with you, it kind of is a blessing, because everything I like make, I try to make as perfect as possible, even though I'll never actually be perfect. Like, I know that's not like a possible thing, but I feel like it helps me feel good about the work I do, but still. It's annoying. This is coming out pretty good. So I think I kind of fixed my shape, which I'm really, really happy about. And now I'm just gonna go in with a decent amount of paint to kind of make sure it's totally covered and you're not seeing any type of orange from behind kind of poke through. And you can also, like, once this dries, if you want, go over it again. If you feel like your paint is a little bit too translucent or too opaque and you see that orange through it, you can absolutely go back again when this layer or this coat dries and add another coat / layer, for sure, for show. I am liking what I'm seeing, guys. I hope you guys too. You guys are doing so fantastic, I'm sure. And if you're just watching to kick back and watch, I hope you are enjoying. Hope you like listening to me and my rambling, but I try to talk and do something to keep myself busy because I'm on camera and I feel like weird if I'm just sitting here like filming myself. So I need to kind of do some talking, guys. I hope you guys don't mind. If you do mind, go ahead and comment below so I know to make you a more relaxing one next time, okay? We are pretty much just done with the sun for now, guys. Now I did go ahead and put some painter's tape here just as a guide for me to make sure that I didn't, you know, go over the lines type of thing, because again, I'm really awful with symmetry and lines and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna pull that off now because we no longer need that in place. Amazing, love it. So now we're gonna wait a minute for this to dry. We're gonna put a new little piece of tape up over our sun there and then do our ocean. So get ready, guys. Take a little break, let it dry, get something to drink, and I'll see you guys in just a sec. Okay guys, now that we're back and the paint has dried a bit, as you can see, I did go ahead and put that like tiny little strip of tape over my sunset here, so that way I have a clean line that I can make with my ocean scene here. Now, because of the lighting in our portrait here, our ocean isn't really gonna be like, you know, this pretty vibrant blue like we all want it to be. It's actually gonna be a kind of grayish, bluish, dreary, kind of shark gray blue. And that's gonna even further the impression that it is sunset and the sun is going down and it's about to be nighttime, which is what we want for this painting. So I did go ahead and just put some more of my primary blue, some of my Mars black, and some of my titanium white on my palette, just right over where I had the blue before. Now my brush is a little bit damp and I'm gonna start mixing that blue together with a little bit of black, and then I'll be adding just a tiny bit of white each time to get that grayish blue color that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling that in, take a little bit of black and pull that into the blue right here. Take just a tiny bit of white until I feel like I have that color that I want. So I think this is the color I'm gonna go for right here. Okay guys, so that right there is the color I'm gonna go for. And this is gonna be all one solid color. You don't need to worry about blending. I mean, if you wanna do some little fine lines at the end to indicate, you know, rippling waves, that kind of a thing, then that's great. But right now it's just gonna be a total solid color for the time being. Remember, this ocean, like I said, is not really the focus of this painting. It just adds some more dimension and some more character and some more interest into your painting. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my palette down for a second and just start blending in. I'm sorry, not blending, just applying it to my canvas here. So just like that. Guys, we are ready to do our palm tree silhouettes. So exciting. I did let my canvas dry, and yes, if you were wondering, I had another outfit change. So listen, I'm a really busy guy and I just love painting and love making these videos for you guys, so I kind of have to work with any little bits of time that I can and kind of blend it all together. So I'm sorry that I've had 3 different outfits in this video, but I promise you it won't change the quality of this painting for you. But it is the morning, it is finally my Saturday, and it's early in the morning and I just woke up and got some coffee and I'm back here and ready to get painting. It's a quiet morning. I've got some nice music on and it's going to be a great day today, guys. So I want to show you, I did go ahead, as you can see here on my canvas, and do an outline with my white paint pen just for what I think the trunk of my palm tree is going to be like. And this is just the first one we're doing. We're going to play around with it and see what we like the best. And of course, guys, you know, there's lots of different types of palm trees out there, and you can make your palm trees however you want them to look, really. If you want them to be more cartoonish, you want them to be more realistic, do you want them to be more abstract, do you want them to be tropical, you know, deserty, you know, what do you want? And whatever you want is good, is perfect. So I'm doing kind of just like a typical palm tree that I see, you know, around here where I live. But again, do whatever you guys want. So now what I'm going to be doing, guys, is actually just taking some Mars black, just straight Mars black for this, guys. I am using actually a, what size brush is this actually? I don't know what size it is, but it's an angled brush. So it's kind of just like our tree brush that we used in my last video, my angled tree brush. This one is also also by Royal and Langnickel. And again, I'll keep all the tools, paints, everything I use down in the description box below. So if you guys want to use what I used, you're good to go. It will be in the description box. But so I'm going to be using the Mars Black with my angled brush. This is just going to be easy for me to use to kind of get that line that I want, you know, with the position I'm in kind of. And I kind of like this size. The size I'm using, it doesn't have the actual measurement on here, but it's a number 6 brush. Hopefully you can see that. I'm assuming that signifies a certain size. It's a number 6 angled brush, flat brush by Royal and Langnickel. And I'm gonna go ahead and dip just a tiny little bit in my water, like we've been doing. Then I'm gonna go ahead and start bringing that into my paint here. And I'm doing just a little bit at a time. Again, guys, to just get my bearings and see how I'm feeling about it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get started here. And I'm going gently, again, just like taking my time, getting my bearings here. The paint pen just helps me kind of stay on track because I'm so focused on exactly where my brush is and not behind where it was and where it's going. So it helps me stay kind of, you know, obviously in the lines. So that's why I do that. I think it's a great idea, especially if you're a beginner, to help you kind of feel more in control and more confident with your strokes. I'm gonna do the other side. And right now I'm just using the tip of that brush to make a really nice thin line, or as thin as I can make it depending on the angle I'm at. And I'm even starting a little bit inside my little white paint pen line, just to start, and then I can build it out. You know, that way if I happen to go over the line, I'm not actually going over it yet. Beautiful. So now what I'm going to be doing is in this top bulb area right here. Now that's going to be a bunch of, I don't even know what the word to say it is. You know, at the bottom of these heads of these palms, there's all these dead kind of branches, dead palm leaves that have kind of broken off, and you can kind of see like their foundation, their stalks or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not a plant guy. You know, makes it thicker and more like bushier up at the very top underneath all these palms. So that's what I'm doing that for. And now what I'm doing, I'm just kind of taking just a little bit outside the line with just like little tiny random lines like that, just so it's not like a perfectly straight line, because this part of it will not be perfectly straight because it's going to be all different old dead palm fronds kind of poking out in all different weird places and not supposed to be too glamorous or too pretty. And that's just part of the nature of it. Changing brushes temporarily. So we're going to go back to be using the medium Filbert brush again for this, just to fill that in right there. So I'm going to go back in with some of my black paint here and just fill that in. I'll be right back, guys. Okay guys, so now that I've filled that in, I'm ready to start doing the branches for the top of my palm tree here. Just a little bit of info. If you're doing the palm tree that I'm doing and you're kind of trying to replicate exactly what I'm doing, I'm gonna start by doing the branches first, then I'll be doing the fronds. Some palm trees have fronds that go from the very beginning of the branch all the way to the very end of the branch on both sides along the whole branch, if you understand what I'm saying. Maybe I'll try to include like pictures here someplace in the video so you can see what I mean by the difference in different kinds of palm trees. These ones, they kind of have a branch that have no palm fronds on them for like half the branch, and then all of a sudden they all come out of the same exact part of this branch in all different directions. So that's what I'm going for. Because there's going to be different thickness between the branch and the fronds, I'm going to be using my medium Filbert again right there to do the branches first, and then I'll be going back in with that angled brush that we were talking about before to do the actual palm fronds, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into a little bit of my black here. Again, start slow until you kind of figure out what you're going for and how your brush is working for you. So I'm gonna start with just a few. So I will start with one right there, next one. Very little pressure, because you don't want them to be too thick. You don't want it to be like almost as thick as the trunk, you know? Remember, at least for this palm tree, my palm tree trunks are really, really skinny. So we need to keep that perspective. We need to keep that realistic by making sure everything's to scale. Another one, like right over there. Okay guys, so now that you can see I have completed those initial branches here, I may add more branches later after I add the fronds on. It kind of depends on how much volume you want on these palm trees. You know, palm trees come with all different shapes, sizes, and density. You know, a lot of people groom them and things like that, and they look all kinds of ways. So you can do it really however you want. This is just a good starting point for me. And I was thinking about it, to be honest with you. Honestly, like literally just playing around with drawing palm fronds on my palette right here. I think instead of using my larger number 6 angled brush from Royal and Langnickel, technical, I'm gonna go ahead and use another brush they make, and this is my tree brush that we keep talking about, and this is the 1/4 inch angled brush right there. So hopefully you can see that. That's what I'm gonna be doing, at least to start. I highly suggest practicing, you know what I mean? Because remember, I've said it twice so far, I'm gonna say it again. You can put more paint on, you can't take it off. I mean, you technically could, but you'd be taking all of your paint off, so no, you can't take it off. So what I'm gonna start with is by doing the top one first, and so I'm gonna be doing just a little short little branch like that, short frond like that, coming out in both directions, okay? Then I'm gonna be doing one a little bit longer, just a little bit in further, a little bit longer again, a little bit longer again. And remember, all these are coming from the same point. You know, these fronds are just getting longer and longer and longer as you go further, and they're all coming out of the exact same pinpoint, the very end of that branch that we drew, okay? If that's the palm tree that you're trying to do, that's how it works. And you're just gonna make them a little bit longer as you go, just like that. And that's a good starting point. And do the next one. This angle is like hard for me to get to. All right, I'm gonna do that one really quick, guys. Give me just a sec. Okie doke, guys, as you can see, we got those fronds getting on there and it's really coming together. I really like the way it's looking. I am definitely gonna add some more branches. I definitely think I need more branches on mine, but this does look really pretty. If you wanna leave it like this, A-okay. Beautiful, gorgeous, gorge. But I want some more branches, so that's what I'm doing right now. So I am gonna pull out my Filbert again, my medium Filbert. I'm gonna do one right there. By the way, guys, I had that time lapse of me doing the palm tree fronds and stuff, but for whatever reason, my camera focused on my hat the entire time and not the palm tree. So you could see it, but you can't see it, sorry. Technology is usually not my forte sometimes, but anyways. Alright guys, so I did add more palm fronds as you guys saw, and I think I'm pretty satisfied with the amount that are on this tree. Yes, this tree, because we're making more trees. I'm liking the way that this one's coming out, so now it's time to do some highlights. So if you can look at my palette here, I did actually go ahead and mix some Mars Black with a little bit of white and a little bit of my burnt umber brown, guys. I made this darker kind of gray color right here, and then I added just a little bit white next to it to make a lighter gray color here. So now both of these colors are lighter than our black that we used for the silhouette of this palm tree. So both of them are kind of highlight colors, but I wanted two different highlight colors that I can use kind of in different places to just add some more dimension and add some more interest into these palm trees and these palm fronds. So I am gonna go ahead and actually pull out 1/4 inch angled brush again, and I'm gonna start with the darker color, guys. It's just a little bit on my brush there, and I'm just going kind of over the edges a little bit of, and really just wherever you feel like it looks good, guys, really, you know, just on the existing palm fronds. I'm not gonna really make any new ones. I'm just kind of going over the existing ones. So just kind of like that. And I'm only going to be using a little bit of the darker color and a bit more of the lighter gray that we made. But like I said, it just adds, you know, some dimension. All right, guys. So check out me putting all these on and then wait till you see what this palm tree looks like when we're done. Alright guys, we have completed our first palm tree from start to finish. That first palm is totally done, it's set, and it looks gorgeous. You guys did an amazing job, I'm sure. Now, something you didn't get a chance to see me do, or maybe you did, but I couldn't really explain it. It was because my camera was dying, so I needed to charge that and kind of just did a time lapse so I could get that filmed. So I will explain how I'm doing this on the next palm tree we do, but as you can see here, I actually did like a nice fade right here, where it gets a little bit gray, the trunk gets a little bit lighter, similar to how we did our highlights for the palm fronds. I did the same thing for the trunk of our tree. The positioning for this is because the sun is over here. So this side of the trunk is going to be a little bit lighter than that side. And when we do another palm tree over here on the other side of our painting, then it's going to be the opposite, because you have to keep that perspective where the light source is coming from. And that's what the highlights really are. They're literally high light areas where there's more light or concentrated light, and it makes things pop and so real. It's really, really awesome. I think that for my next palm tree, I'm thinking I want to do like 3 of them. I was painting a different palm tree photo the other day, and I only painted 2 palm trees on them, and someone was like, there's only 2. Yeah, so don't you know about rule of thirds? I've heard of that, but does that, but now I feel like I need to do 3. So I'm doing 3. Are you happy? Are you happy? Anyways, so I got my paint pen back out. I really like using these for my guides. Huge thing, huge advantage. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a beginner, like I said. Now, I think for my second palm tree, I'm gonna wanna do it just barely over the sun, just barely, just so you can kind of see that cut, give you a little bit more interest, a little bit more perspective, you know? So I'm thinking, and this one will also be shorter than the first one. So I'm thinking maybe kind of like, just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do my bulb at the top again. And now who remembers what the next step is? Gold star for whoever remembers. The next step is to do our outline with our angled brush. So I am going to use actually the larger angled brush this time. For this particular type of thing, I have enough control over it, I feel, and it's going to make it a bit faster for me. So check this out. So as you saw, I did go ahead and finish that second palm tree. Now I did want to take a second to show you how I did that shading right here on the trunk of this one, because it really makes a huge difference. The little things like that really make a huge difference in a painting. For the shading, I am going to be using, again, the 1/4 inch angled brush that we've been using a lot lately. I am using my lighter highlight color. Do you guys remember how when we were doing the first palm tree, I told you I would have 2 highlight colors, a darker one and a lighter one that are both lighter than the black, but different kind of shades to kind of create highlights and lowlights in those palm fronds. So I am using the lighter of the 2 highlight colors to do the trunk here. So I do have some of it left on my palette here. There you go. So I do have some on my brush right there right now, and I am now going to be actually doing just a very tiny thin line just on the right side of this trunk here, taking my time. And that kind of gives the appearance of the sun peeping around the side of that trunk. Now, something else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put just some very, very, very tiny little lines, okay? Just like that. You might not even be able to see them, to be honest with you. They're just supposed to be just a little bit more interest, a little bit more definition. And now, guys, what I want you to do, any paint that's on this brush you just used, this is where the magic happens, okay? So pay attention. You're gonna go ahead and bring it to a paper towel or a cloth or whatever and just rub it. Don't get it wet, just rub it. Try to get pretty much as much of that paint off as you can. And now here's the thing. It looks clean. We got most of that paint off, but there's still a little tiny bit in there, okay? I'm gonna have you go back into just the right side of this trunk here and just start blending it around. Remember that black paint is dry, so all you're really blending around is any excess that might be left inside of your bristles on your brush and those lines that you made on the right side of the tree trunk. And you're just gonna keep doing that, and you'll see over time, it's gonna take a minute, you'll see that when you're buffing, it starts to kind of blend out and get a little bit lighter. So as you can see now, you've got that totally dark black color on the left side, and it goes and it fades right into this lighter grayish color on the right side. And it makes a huge difference, guys, huge difference. And it's not easy to do. So congrats if you were able to do that. If you weren't, I get it, it's okay. It takes time to figure it out how you want to move your arm and your wrist and get it done. But don't worry, your painting looks amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and start my third and final palm tree for this painting. And actually, this one I'm gonna do a little bit different. It's gonna be the same kind of palm tree, same kind of deal, but I'm gonna make it a bit taller and a little bit smaller at the same time to kind of give that impression that it's a little bit further away. Stay tuned, we're gonna work on that right now. Alright guys, so as you can see, I did go ahead and stencil in with my paint pen the final third palm tree that's going to be further out in the distance. So you can see I did make it a bit taller than the others, and I made the trunk way thinner because we want that perspective to stick. So I am going back in again just with the Mars Black right now, and this time for the outline, instead of using my number 6 angled brush, the larger one, I'm using just the 1/4 inch angled brush again that we've been using for forever now. Yeah, I'm just using that again because now it's a smaller one, so we need a smaller brush to do that outline. So let's fill it in. Alright Alright guys, so as you can see, I did go ahead and fill in that palm tree trunk and start doing the branches for my palm fronds. Since this is such a smaller palm tree and it's in the distance, I did go down a size in my brush. So now for the actual palm fronds, I'm actually using a small Filbert brush, which, I mean, it's really, really small, guys. Okay, but that's a small Filbert brush. I'm going to be just using the Mars Black. Now, I can't stress enough with this one, because of how small it is, you want to have smaller pressure. It's a very tiny tip at the top, and I'm not submerging this brush into the paint and then putting it on. I'm practically just dipping the tip in and doing a couple palm fronds at a time, you know, similar to like writing with a ink pen that you dip in ink. So it's just a little bit here, and then you go back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. Don't ever pull too much paint onto this brush, because then it will give you just not the look and the stroke that you're looking for. You really just want the tiny little tip to have some paint on it so you can do those little tiny palm fronds. So watch what I do and see how you feel about yours. And again, you know, you don't have to do a tiny small palm tree like out in the distance like I am. You can do another palm tree that's close up, or a different kind of palm tree, or some leaves or some vines, whatever makes you happy, guys. This is just what I'm feeling today, so that's what I'm going for. Same kind of design for the palm fronds. Basically no pressure over here, guys. Next one, next one, next one, next one. You see how it's coming together, guys? It's gonna look a little bit less kind of sharp, you know, because it's so far away. And it would look less sharp in real life if it was this far away too, but that's okay. After you add the rest of your palm fronds, it's gonna be absolutely clear what that is and how beautiful it is as a palm tree. I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse you guys so you guys can see me complete that, and then we'll go from there, guys, to start doing our highlights. Alright guys, so now that I have that palm tree all finished up with its silhouette, it's time to do the highlights for this palm tree and get going. It's our last set of highlights, guys, so make it count. This is going to bring this whole painting together, and you are just going to be so proud of yourself. So let's get ready, let's do these highlights, time-lapse style. Go! You did it, guys. We painted this painting together. It came out absolutely amazing, as you can see. I'm just thrilled. I hope you guys enjoy your new painting. I hope that you guys had fun with me today and painted and enjoyed your time. I hope you guys were able to relax and just smile a little bit, forget about your worries and forget about your stress, and just enjoy some color, you know? I hope you guys find a really special place to hang your new painting, because it's just beautiful, guys. You guys all did an amazing job today, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Friendly reminder that if you do like my videos, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it, guys. If you are interested in this kind of stuff, I highly suggest you subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know you're the first person to find out when my next video airs. Like this video if you can. If you don't like this video, you know, keep it to yourself. Thanks so much. Besides that, I hope you guys just have an amazing week. I hope you guys have your best week ever and are ready and refreshed to enjoy the rest of your week. But that's it, guys. This is Paint Therapy. Make good choices, do good things out there, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I love you guys.